Hey everybody, welcome to Zulu Series. I'm your host Adam, and this is Vet Talk. The whole point of Vet Talk is to interview different types of veterans from all different types of experience. This is going to be a new series that I am starting that will be able to let veterans tell their stories. The whole point of this is to be able to show everybody that veterans go through different things, different branches, different experiences, different everything. And I'm hoping that some of these stories, we plan on having the good, the bad, and the ugly throughout this series. So if you're interested in being a part of this series, go ahead and click on the link below in the description. It should take you to a Facebook page. You can contact me and ask about being a part of the show. And without further ado, let's go to our first episode. My first guest is actually a part owner to Zulu Series. His name is John. I actually met John when I was in college right after the service. Him and I ended up becoming close friends and just ended up clicking really well like some veterans do. He is a very talented individual, a very smart individual. I respect this guy with everything I have. So let's go to our first episode. Honored to have my guest, John, join us today. He's a good friend of mine. We both spent some time in college together after the military and had some fun stories, but I'll let him talk about himself here. John, what's going on?
Nothing much.
Let's lay some background on you here.
Background? What are you, the police? What do you want to know?
I mean,
what I did in Florida, it's none of your concern.
I mean, we do strip searches here.
Well, that's just good, wholesome family fun.
Of course.
That's not what I'm referring to. The Tigers. But I'm John. I am the professional writing major version of this Ploly Science romance guy. I keep the North on lockdown while he's in America's Wang.
Hot and sweaty down here. Very moist.
Moist.
Very moist.
He's drinking beer, yet I'm drinking fine Irish whiskey.
Like I said, moist.
Moist. I went retarded for a second. Which is a great lead into I'm an 11 Bang Bang. I like the smell of Brasso and spent brass and, just good old CLP, overlubed everything. So you kind of get a little on the fumes. I've been in a lot of concussive blasts, which is just lovely.
So you're telling me Coast Guard then, huh?
What?
So you're telling me Coast Guard then, huh?
Oh, yeah, full on Coast Guard. But, Coast Guard Infantry, Army Division. But I was in a weapons company in a light fight brigade of a heavy brigade. So, but we were mounted weapons. So, Moss Deuces, Mark 19s, and toes all day long, son. 20 mentally deficient dudes running around with more firepower than an entire light fight. I'll tell you, it's just good times.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like it was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, up in the Hindukush Mountains where you don't have to worry about backdrops, so you just let loose.
That's awesome. So what made you join? What got you to start joining the 11 Bang Bang group?
Well, see, I'm from military families. My grandfather was Army, then went Air Force as... when he was Army, he was in comms. He was up in Greenland watching for nukes. And then he switched to Air Force as a helicopter mechanic. My papa, which was my dad's side, he was a Navy. Then his eldest, my uncle, was naval also. My uncle on my mom's side was Army Intelligence. I had a cousin on my father's side, then go Marines. God bless his soul. But he was Force Recon, which was great for his anger issues. And then, but I always grew up, with these military families. So I always grew up, playing military. And you don't play cook You don't play 88 Mike. You play infantry when you play military. And if I was going to go in, I wanted to make stuff go boom. If I was going to take the time to be in the military, I was going full on. Now, granted, I did not join straight out of college. I was 23 when I joined. I was well versed in living at that point. Let me say it nicely. I had my fun. I sowed them oats, and not just in the loins way.
And it whistles when you run, right?
Yeah. But I was tired of having too much fun, and it was time to fall back on family tradition. And also Generation Kill had just come out, so I was like, I can fucking do that. So that's when I was like, walked into the recruiter, took the ASVAB, scored ridiculously well. They're like, you can have any job you want. And I'm like, infantry. They're like, are you sure? Like literally, you can have any job you want. I'm like, no, I want to go infantry. They're like, is it because of the sign-on bonus? Because it was during the surge in 2008. I was like, no, that's just a bonus. I enjoy getting 42,000 extra for a sign-on bonus, but no, I just really want to make things go boom. They're like, well, let bang bang it is.
All right, fair enough. I mean, did the recruiter at least try to lie to you, or was he just pretty much, this guy's he's already fucking stupid?
No, I'd actually sit in his office while he lied to other folks. Like I said, I was 23. I just walked in there. I'm like, look, I'm this. I also had to get a moral waiver because, I had a DUI and got into a little bits of trouble, but,
So you're already on your way to staff sergeant.
Right, yeah. I mean, I had civilian Article 15s, basically. The same shit you would get eventual Article 15s for. But, while I was doing the moral waiver paperwork and some other things, I would just hang out in the office with him a little bit here and there while we're doing other paperwork and waiting for stuff to process through the system. And I'd sit there and watch him just run their BS lines on these 18-year-old dumbasses. And then, they'd leave and we'd just sit back and laugh. So, no, he knew he wasn't going to pull one over on me. But he also knew I was dead set and going in,
Yeah.
So he didn't.
I mean, it's funny though. I mean, it just can't bullshit the guy who's already wanting to do it, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, that's so. I'm assuming you said you were 4th Infantry, so I'm assuming Fort Carson.
Yep, Fort Carson. 4th
right,
Infantry.
So how was that?
Brigade.
How was all that?
Dude, it's awesome. All right, other than the extreme winters, and I got stories about that shit.
Yeah.
But almost everyone in my basic training, all 4 companies off Sand Hill went to Fort Polk to fill out the new brigade for 10th Mountain. I could have gone to Polk. Ugh. We all know Polk. That's where we go to JRTC, for war games. It's in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. Literal weird Hills Have I Louisiana version hillbillies called Boudreaux live on the base because they just refuse to move. There is a gang of roving hobos that strip copper out of training areas. I almost had one of my second JRTC delayed because these damn hobos going through, the fake fobs and cops and scrounging shit. They got it repaired just in time before we got there.
Oh yeah.
So I won the lottery. I mean, I went to Colorado Springs, a real city.
Yeah.
It is nature paradise. I mean, me and a couple fellow E4s after the first swim, we'd walk 5 miles up Gold Camp Road, then walk down a mountain, up a mountain, back down a mountain. We'd be in the nice little secret draw behind Cheyenne Mountain, aka NORAD. And we had this little spot we built man land up there and camped out. It was beautiful. Off post PT was encouraged because we live next to a million damn trails, so it's always nice to get off post. Now, summers, mild, beautiful, nice. Winters, I know what negative 50 degrees feels like with constant 30-mile-per-hour winds while trying to do buddy live fires. So, there's that whole cuddling other men for warmth thing, but you win some, you lose some.
Where your nut the butt comes in. By the way, explaining that to a civilian is always fun.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's not gay. It's for war.
Oh no, it's definitely out of necessity. So, so no, So what would be the highlight of your military career? The funniest thing you probably remember? Being infantry, I'm sure there's a handful of shit you can tell us.
Oh God, yeah, because like as you know, a deployment is not a battle against the enemy. It's a battle against boredom and a lot of what we're going through now with quarantine. I mean, you're stuck on a fob. You live on that fob for a year. You only get to go out to go drive around and blow stuff up and possibly get blown up yourself, which happens.
That's pretty much like
occasion.
that.
Yeah. So it's such an effect on the mind that it's actually quantified and qualified. Like before my deployment, they gave you a chart and they're like, this is what your emotional response throughout this year is going to be. So you do stuff to combat this boredom. So there's a litany of things we did to not go insane. Especially like we got this guy 6 months into our first deployment. And this is the first deployment is during the surge. So high mission tempo, at least 2 missions a day, morning and evening. But usually a third mission, which is a midday quick, patrol. And then we're constantly going on 2 to 5 day runoffs too, and do VPBs everywhere. But so by 6 months, we're batshit crazy at this point. And they send us one new guy, a single solitary new guy. And this poor kid is so timid, so gentle, so sheltered, so suburban. We called him Fish, as in prison fish. And that name never got removed. We were trying to toughen him up because where we were up in the Kunar province, in the Hindi Kush, red as red zones can get. And we need him to man up quick. So, he was like a chew toy. Between us and the section of engineers we had tied to us, he was our chew toy. I have pictures. I have video. But the way we welcomed him. And, we would have taken it probably a little bit easier on him, but he just took it. There was, me and Simmons, the sharp rep, who, if anyone's going to cause you to want to talk to a sharp rep, it's him. And he's our sharp rep. I'm the assistant sharp rep. And we would just pop up over his little blanket door, and we're like, Fish, it's time. You might want to put that computer away. He's like, can I just put this so it doesn't get damaged? We're like, oh yeah, we'll let you put it away. And then we'd attack him. No, and he would just kind of take it instead of being aggressive and coming back at us. Now, if he would have put up, and he eventually kind of started near the end, started putting up a fight, so he didn't get stuff as bad. But if you're gonna act like a chew toy, we're gonna make you a chew toy.
It's funny how close a prison, military can be at times.
Yeah, everything but the actual,
It's like you volunteer to
tight
go
runner stuff. But so this kid, we were bored, and we wrapped him in packing tape with glow sticks all around him, chem lights, and we stuck other random stuff. We put some goggles on him, but I put that little black Velcro circles that we had shit tons of, so we couldn't actually see. Poured a whole thing of Purell on his head and put a hat over it and duct taped it. We had his legs zip tied and everything. And we made him first run through the chow hall saying, "Help me, Tom Cruise. Save me, baby Jesus. Oh my God." Mid-chow. Everyone's just like, what the hell? And the best part is while we were doing this, we were actually at it was primarily a Naval Reconstruction Authority base, which had a lot of Navy and Air Force reservists.
Yeah,
they're on their 3 month to 6 month tour, and other than them, it was an infantry company, or actually an infantry platoon with attached EOD and engineer sections. And then there was the Cobra element, who had the ANA Special Forces they were training up. And then they also had a flight and medical teams there. Those were the full-timers, but it was mainly all these reservists. They were just like, what the hell? This is 8 months of us in. We were going eh. But after that, we then got him. And now we finally made use of the fact that we knew the combination to the LT and platoon sergeant's door. They didn't know we knew the combination. But we were saving it for the right time. Tonight was that night. We hid that new private glowing like a damn Christmas tree in there with the lights off. Right before it was time for them to take in all the platoon daddies. in for the briefing for what we're going to be doing for tomorrow. And they just open the door. And we also have another guy hidden in there with a camera. And they just open up and you just hear, what the fuck? Oh my, what have y'all done? And then he starts to freak out because he was a frat dude. We like messing with him. So he sometimes thinks like, oh God, they finally set an explosion in my bunk. And then he just runs out, I'm free last. And then we follow this kid as a glowing guidon around the fob, which probably wasn't the best idea. It's like sniper fire headlight. Let's just shoot a mortar right where that fucking glowing thing is. Stupid shit like that. Oh God.
Well, see, it's easy to say. I think I should say it's safe to say that I don't think any of that stopped after you got out of the military. I'm pretty sure, because that's where I met you.
You can contest to that fact that it never ended. We continued such shenanigans throughout the Miami campus.
Yeah.
Ohio. Not Florida, Ohio.
I will say we definitely did tear up Miami at some point. But, I remember the night that we made the Super Saiyan drink. I'll let you go ahead and walk through this one. But before we start, I want to describe one of the characters that was involved in this. We will just name him. Will just name him Harambe for legal purposes. Don't have to talk about this, but we will call him Harambe because he was an army guy. He was just a dude who looked like Harambe's little brother. Just a big, hairy, bulky dude, and. Needless to say, there is video out there. When I say out there, I mean on my phone of Harambe beating the crap out of John. But go ahead and walk us through what happened that night.
So, the boys decided to hit uptown Oxford, Ohio, and this was the full group. This is, what was it? This is still freshman year, right?
The uptown is where all the bars were. That's where everything that we needed was, all the food, that's where the nightlife was for the college.
So you have the full Student Veterans Association at the current time. And this even includes ones that eventually dropped off a little bit, like the only one that could possibly take on Harambe, aka Mongo the Destroyer, was there that night. And throughout the night, as we continued to bar, Harambe and Mongo the Destroyer would randomly GFT in the street, freaking everybody out. And then they get up, hug, and laugh as we go on about our nightly reign of terror.
This was right in the middle of the street, too. This wasn't on a sidewalk. This was in the middle of an alley that was right in front of the police office, the police station.
But the police were cool with us because we invited them to our cookout. And we do our thing. Bar's starting to close. And I get the bright idea to have the boys over to my place for a little more shenanigans. Because what do I have but more booze? Naturally. At the time, I'm a 30-year-old college student with no other responsibility other than being a college student. What the hell do you expect?
More simpler times.
And we get there, and we're just shit-faced, beyond shit-faced. And what do I have sitting on my counter? A ton of booze and pre-workout mix. Naturally. So what do all the knuckle draggers do? We mix way too much C4 workout mix with, what was it? It was the 100 proof Smirnoff, yeah.
Yeah. And nothing else.
Shake.
There was nothing else. There's no water in there to numb it down. It was just all straight liquor.
No. 4 scoops. 4 full damn scoops of C4. And the rest, Smirnoff. And a shaker. And we start passing around the shaker and chugging it. Horrible tasting. But that didn't stop us. Not one damn bit. And we all begin to go into a berserker rage. Point. I pity my neighbors for that night.
Well,
just loud and madness.
If I'm not mistaken, the reason we called it the Super Saiyan drink was because Harambe decided to chug 3/4 of it before any of us could even touch it, and he stopped 3/4 of it. I think he intended to kill all of it, but he stopped after he realized how powerful it was, and then he just looked at us and went, "Ah!"
Now, Harambe is a level 4 combatives instructor, mind you, and a mountain of damn muscle. He's going to be a coach. He is a kinesiology major. This man is a beast. And in this drunken nitrous oxide infused stage he is found, decides to use me as an unwilling participant in going over the entire level 1 combatives test and walking you through it like you're supposed to get your certification, like it's a damn instructional.
All this while John's on the ground crying for mercy.
Yes!
Get off
not being gentle at all. Though luckily, Mongo the Destroyer was trying to set Harambe on fire the whole time, but Harambe was so out of it, he had no idea he was slowly being set on fire.
So the video shows all of it, but there was a part where John was on the ground while Harambe was on top of him, and I'm going to say this in the most homoerotic way I can, but he was mounting,
very sensual.
He was mounting John, and while his ass was up in the air, Mongo the Destroyer took a lighter and was trying to light his pants on fire, not even warning anyone. Just and the worst part is I felt like the worst person in the world, because it was me, Mongo, and the civilian friend that we had, who were just watching you get destroyed and not doing anything. Like we were.
I think it was partially self interest, because if you would have tried to insert yourself,
oh yeah,
Harambe just would have taken you.
Oh yeah, and that's the problem. Mongo was definitely tired. I could say that night because if you remember right, that night was when our buddy, and I'll say this because I know he doesn't go by this name, but our buddy Kev came up to try to meet us, and that was the first time he met Mongo.
Yeah.
And so Kev was someone I knew from well before I even went to the military. I knew him before I went in. He was an Army guy talking about going in, and he was on the what's it called when they go into the military, but like they're technically reserve until they finish out college and then they go active duty, but they're not ROTC. There's like a program. I know the term.
Yeah, it's been forever.
But he did that, and I met him, and Ken was always a good dude. He's always a really cool dude. But the funny thing is, he's about 5'0", but his arms are the size of my head. Like, he is just the most jacked dude I've ever seen in my entire life. But he came up to meet us at the bar that night, and Mongo is about 6 foot, I don't know, 6 maybe, a little shorter than that.
It's got a bit on me even, yeah.
He weighs about 300 something pounds of just solid, just muscle. Like, he's a big dude. And for whatever reason, Mongo was a Marine, and he didn't quite get the Marine Corps lifestyle out of his head at that point.
He was a fellow infantryman. He's not right.
He was so Marine Corps that it was like one of those, like, oh shit, not this guy again. But like, you end up loving him at the end of it because he's awesome. You trust that guy with your life because you have no other choice. But
anyone outside of our group couldn't trust him. He would.
I remember Kev coming in, and I looked over and I said, "Kev, what's going on, man?" And Kev's got that deep voice, like, "Oh, well, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?" And then I just remember Mongo staring at him, like for like a good solid 2 minutes, and he just looked at me and he goes, "Adam, I don't like this shit. Is he a friendly?" Saying, what do you mean? He goes, "Adam, I'm not joking. Is he a friendly right now?" And I was like, you know what? How about this? Why don't you go ask him? Did I know what would unfold that night? When I told him that, I would have never said it. But he picked up Kev, all 5 foot of him, and was yelling at him because I forget, I was ordering a drink, so there's a little bit that kind of like I missed there, but like last I checked, I turned around, you all were heading to the bathroom, and Kev was midair with his feet in the air. Mongo's holding him up at 180 degrees, like just straight upside down, yelling, "Are you a friendly? Are you a friendly?" And I remember Kev grabbing the toilet, yelling, "I'm a friendly, man, get off me."
Once you realized he was arty, though, he was cool with him. He's like, "Oh, you're arty? Yeah, I like you then."
Yeah, but like I remember talking to Kev ever since that. He goes, "Yeah, Mongo's not going to be there, is he?" Anytime we hung out after that, it was, "Is Mongo going to be there?" And every time I said yes, we'd never see Kev. That leads me. Let's going to go ahead and go to the next question on this. Going back to the college time frame for you, what was one of the most, I want to say challenging, but not necessarily challenging, one of the most outspoken times or maybe challenges that you came across going from being a military veteran going into a very public university?
The first happened right away. Sitting in my microbiology lab. I mean, this is first semester. We get this huge project, and it's in a group because it's lab, and it's me and these 3 other girls, and we get the project. It's due, I think, in like 4 days, but we have a week in between. And they're doing the normal college Miami thing. They're going to do it the very last day. I have not been queued up on this level of malingering yet. And I'm ready to start that evening, even though it is a night lab and like we're out at like 7:40. So I start doing shit and I email them and like, "Oh, I've done this. And then it gets to Saturday and like there's still nothing from them. Not even replying to that I've done shit. I'm like, "Oh, I'll do some more work into this." It hits Sunday near the evening. So I start sending very aggressive emails like, "You lazy bitches, blah, 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 blah. Damn malingering. Do you know what that definition of malingering is? Ah." And then all of a sudden, like 2 hours before lab on that Monday, all of a sudden they start pouring in tons of work. I'm like, I see how it is. No one's gonna do shit. No one really gives that much of a fuck. And that was the big difference where, in the military, I don't care what branch, what job. When you have a task, you go do that task. You do it together, you do it efficient, you do it quick, you do it well. Then you go back to hurry up and wait, dicking around, smoking and joking. And that was a huge transition of patience in the sense of not everyone's going to be in a hurry, regardless of how much of a hurry you're in. And then just the general incompetence of the civilian group as a whole that all of us veterans deal with. You're used to working with a group of are such a level of excellency and capability that even if they're fucking off and dicking around at their laziest, they are 1,000 times more efficient and capable than any group of civilians. That was the big transition, shock for me.
So what would you say would be, I don't know, maybe a good thing that you were happy the military taught you going into college setting?
Well, the ability to do a lot of work, handle a lot of stress. I mean, I was taking my lowest an 18 credit hour semester. I was normally taking 22 credit hour semesters. I did 2 4-year degrees in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So the ability to stay on task, and I did well, and I didn't have to put in an absorbent amount of effort to do well because I was doing it efficiently. I wasn't, always trying to play catch up, which it would allow me to be more relaxed in my daily day, going about and doing things and being involved in outside of school things. The time you got me real drunk before a microbiology exam, whatever, I was prepared,
Right after German, that was fun. By the way, that's how we met, was in German class.
Sprecken's dick.
Oh, it was, one of us decided to try to go through the rest of the years with it, which was my mistake. The other one of us took sign language, which was actually more applicable to the United States.
You quite literally cannot learn sign language like you learn other foreign languages by a textbook. Instead, you play games like Guess Who and Telephone to literally learn sign language. It is the chillest, coolest fucking way to get your language credit. Not to mention, in a noisy bar, and be like, You want? And they're like, yeah, I'm like, I got you. And I still like I ran in. Oh, by the way, when I was after college, I was still trying to break in my degree field. I was the armed security for Fifth Third's Bank's corporate headquarters because they had a huge shooting there. So they freaked out and they were only hiring combat experienced veterans. We were all armed.
Of course, yeah, you need that.
Met a crazy dude named Igor, literally a Russian mob baby. I was a child. His parents sold him to the Russian mob, which is a thing to get rid of debt over there, apparently. But then, of course, he joined the military for the American side and got his citizenship and all that. But the dude spoke like 8 languages. One of them was ASL. So we would just fuck with people and just speak ASL all the time. It has its advantage.
I wonder if you could like use that, like when you see a guy that you think's gonna rob a place, you're just like, hey, you think this guy's all fucked up? Like, yeah, let's fucking get him. Fuck this guy.
Mainly us talking shit about bosses and employees from while he's up on skywalk and I'm up guarding a different building.
Yeah, of course. Now, what man, what I just, it's so hard to explain, you know, going from military to college for so many people. I would have to say that. I mean, because this is what this whole, you know, channel, you know, that was about. Was
especially because with, I mean, not so much now, but with our generation of soldiers, airmen, Marines, and seamen, most of us went to college straight out for war.
Yeah.
So we didn't gear down fully. I mean, I was still in it. We were all easily, every single person we hung out with that were veterans in college were still in a state of hypervigilance.
Yeah.
We all had a degree of PTSD. So, and none of us had even really integrated back into civilian world or found our civilian drive. So during this process of educating ourselves and getting our degrees, we were also all having to do the struggle of reintegrating back into civilian society, which all has its own issues. And I think all of us almost faltered and dropped out just out of sheer like, what the fuckness during that process of trying to find our identity outside the military, which was a whole another layer of difficulty and top of the educational process.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds bad saying this, but like just in my personal opinion, and you can, like I said, if you have any opinions onto it, go ahead. But I almost feel like the educational process is not meant to be like anything else. You're not meant to be able to really relate that experience in anything, let alone going from military to the educational, like going to a giant frat school or sorority school, learning what we did, seeing how we were ousted. I mean, there's no place for us when we got there. You know, both you and I there's no Veterans Association. There was nothing when we first got there. They took our GI Bill.
Well, that's why we made our own community in that sense. Now, I was a little better off than you because I went into it knowing being a little bit older than you. Mm-hmm. I knew I was the old man. I was the odd one out, the statistical outlier going into it. So I wasn't expecting to fully integrate into the college experience.
Yeah.
Where you being closer in age to them. And also with you starting off with particular fraternities and groups that you did where, I mean, I joined a frat, but it was an honors frat for my major, which is a lot different. More like I adopted the weirdos, sweet English nerds. But with you, it was, you got into the social aspect of it until the drama of these.
Yeah, the fraternities and stuff.
Rich bitches.
Yeah, that all of it became kind of a little too much in my opinion. Well,
I avoided that aspect of it from the get-go to an extent.
Now just realizing that we had to learn to deal with what we had because everyone else was getting their time paid for, whereas we were, you know, very much on our own. You know, looking at these kids, and I remember at one point, I think one time we did that pre-drinking on Saturday, we called it Beat the Clock, and we went. It's where you go to a bar and at 1 o'clock, pitchers of beer are $1, and then at 2 o'clock they're $2, $3, 3 o'clock they're $3. And I remember a couple of us veterans went there one day, and I remember just hearing one of the kids, just not veteran, just a regular civilian kid, talking about his daddy makes X million amounts of dollars every year as a lawyer in Chicago. And I'm just sitting there thinking, and you're going to take his business over. You just did a line of coke in the bathroom. Holy shit. Like, standards are not very high here, are they? At least
he's a lawyer, of course. That is exactly what you need to be doing to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
What they did in the 80s and 90s, wild.
Yeah, big business and cocaine were two things that went together in the 80s.
It's tropey. It's so true. It's a trope.
Oh, man. But, no, but yeah, like, I would say, like, you know, I'd say we were more prepared for the real world than most of those kids were.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say so. You know, I met a lot of veterans. I still connect with a lot of veterans this day, too, and I know you do, too.
Oh, yeah.
Just like...
And I still keep in contact with some people from my honors frat, and seeing what their transition from school now into the professional world. It's not easy for my degree. I mean, if you do my degree right, you'll make a good amount of money, a lot of money. But breaking into it is not easy because there's not a lot of starting positions, a lot of, entry. Like my first job in my degree field is a mid-senior level position.
Yeah.
But their ability to break into this stuff is quite trying. And a lot of them, one of them ended up living in Banff a little bit. But they weren't ready for the harsh realities of outside of the bubble, which happens once you're done with college. Or, for those who skip college and go straight out of high school, like, you're living in the bubble until that point. Reality is cruel and hard and does not give a shit about you. They were not prepared, especially the Miami bubble. It's so...
I would definitely say the military prepped us for that. Like, no one gives a shit about you.
Oh, yeah.
You're just gonna have to fight for yourself and do that. And then going into Miami or going into the college setting, that was a huge wake-up call to us, I think. Like, shit, not only are we not in the real world, we're in a fake world, and we're still like the weird ones here.
I thrive on being the weird one.
I didn't at first, I'm not gonna lie to you, but
what did you think when you first met me? Right? I am the weird one. I've always been the weird one.
So the minute I saw you, to be honest with you, like the first time I saw you, I remember you were wearing a military backpack. And I saw the
assault bag. Yeah.
I saw your 4th Infantry patch on the back of your backpack. And I'm thinking to myself, fuck this guy. Like, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know how. But I was just thinking, like, fuck this guy. Who the fuck does this guy think he is? And I remember saying something. I remember you saying, "Oh, you were in Germany at one point, blah blah blah." That's why. And she did that stupid exercise, like, "Oh, why do you want to take German? Or have you ever been to Germany?" And I said, "I was at Ramstein." And I remember at that point when I said that, I went to Ramstein for a short, brief amount of time. You stared at me and pointed at me and started shaking your head like, fuck yeah. And I thought, you know what? I think I like this guy now. I don't know why, but like the minute I saw your military backpack, I was like, fuck this guy. This guy's an asshole.
All my great
talk to you.
All my great military bromances start off with like, I want to stab that motherfucker in the chest.
And now you're like one of my closest friends. I mean, hell, you're in my wedding and everything else, like, so it's just funny to me, like, like the military, like, mindset. I mean, think about it. If you told one of the college kids that you knew in college that you were like, fuck you, I hated you when I first fucking met you, and like said it just like that, how would they respond? Like yeah, but then I got over it. Like, I wasn't gonna kill you afterwards.
I hadn't picked a spot for the body yet. Jesus. Knee-jerk reaction.
It just cracks me up. All of it just really cracks me up when we talk about stuff like that. But I don't know, like I'm really, I'm glad I met you. I'm glad, things always went well with us, and we had a great time, I'd say, in college. It's funny that we have all these names for these people, but we have, like when you think veterans come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, hell, we got, the Harambe we were joking about, Mongo. We had Coke Boy, You know how we have little fucking what's the word I'm looking for? The little fire Spitfire that we had in our
Spitfire, the good one. She
can't claim what the
she's
hell
5'0" nothing,
could take
ex-Marine, and we followed her lead because she was louder and crazier than the rest of us. And let's say something, because I'm pretty damn crazy.
I remember at one point during the Veterans Day, when the first Veterans Day, we all got together and started drinking, literally at probably 11 o'clock. She walked up to me, and I tried joking around with her. I said, "Hey, how you doing? Are you a dependent of somebody?" Knowing damn well, like, I knew exactly. I was one of the leaders of the veterans group at the time, and she grabbed me. She goes, "Adam, come here a little bit closer." And she grabbed me by my beard and said, "Adam, you ever fucking call me that again, I'll fucking rip your nuts off." I was like, "Oh, okay, yes, ma'am."
She had a dick bigger than the rest of us. It might not have been natural, but she would use it to attract.
I'm hoping one day I'll get her on one of these episodes. But Jesus,
she's going insane with the quarantine, by the way.
I'm sure she is. I'm sure she'll have a good time. But then we had the farmer.
The stories.
Farmer.
Stories.
The only man that owns a Civil War cannon in his fucking barnyard that actually shoots it randomly in his backyard.
He did not do too well with learnings. So he took his government money and bought himself a homestead. He's lived his best life.
I literally don't think he thought about the background of where we were shooting, because I swear we probably put bullets in the back of someone's house.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee it.
Then we had the Apache. He was a helicopter pilot.
Jump on it.
Pretty boy, real big dude, real nice dude, really smart.
He was fun to hang out with.
Yeah, fun dude, really good dude. I mean, all our guys were fun to hang out with, except for Coke Boy. Coke Boy was kind of he was a level of something else I don't want to remember. But and then we have the Hermit, and I love him. I still talk to him to this day. But he's the guy who served during the Desert Storm time, but I swear to God was a Vietnam vet at heart.
Oh God, yeah. He buries rifles every so often, so in case he's got a bug out.
He buries his rifles in his backyard.
I saw him not too long ago. He's doing pretty good.
I'm glad to hear he's doing well. I talk to him every so often. But yeah, it just cracks me up. Like, I know that was a long explanation, but just the amount of like different types of vets that we have that we've come in contact in our life, man. There's plenty more, but holy shit. If that's how it is, I'm going to go ahead and just say, thanks for, I'm going to go ahead and just end this segment and say thanks for being a guest on here. If you don't know, John is one of the what I consider a active partner onto Zulu series.
69 Zulu!
69. If you want to know more about 69 Zulu, feel free to comment onto our video or message us. This has been a good time. My name's Adam. This is John, and have a good time and stay frosty, you fucks.
Enjoy, motherfuckers.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching this episode. If you want to be a part of the series, once again, just follow the link in the description to the Facebook page. We would be more than happy to have anyone we can to get on the show and share their experiences. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the page. We'll be coming out with regular content. We are hoping to get more series, different types besides Vet Talk going. As a final word of advice, please check on your brothers and sisters to make sure that everyone is okay, especially during this time with COVID-19 going on. So please check on them and make sure everyone's all right. Until then, stay grunny, my friends.